Hey, good morning, Georgianna. I hope this finds you doing well. It's the March 8th, and we're still finding ourselves in the book of Isaiah as we do this morning's Take 5. So I'm just going to go ahead and share that passage with you, and then we'll go back through it and unpack it. So Isaiah 46, 9 through 10 says this: Remember the former things, those of long ago. I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me. I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times, what is still to come. I say my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. Right, so there's a lot happening in this single passage, which is part of the reason we chose it for you, so that you would know it and learn it and believe it. So one of the first things that God says is, remember the former things, those of long ago. So I would tell you that oftentimes forgetfulness is the first symptom of ingratitude, right? For our inability to be thankful, right? We forget what people do for us. We forget their kindness. We forget all those things. A classic example from the Bible is Jesus heals 10 lepers, and only one returns to give thanks. So that lack of thankfulness always has its roots in forgetfulness. We forget. And part of what God is trying to say is remember everything we've done and how long we've done it, right? How long God has been doing his work. So it is incredulous to me. I remember when I first became a Christian that we could read the story of the Exodus and all the miracles that happened, from the plagues to their departure through the Red Sea and into the promised land, right? Milk and honey and all that kind of stuff on the horizon, all those kind of things, and how quickly the people got to wine. They forgot really, really fast all that God had done. And so this is part of what God is saying. Then he goes on to say, I am God and there is no other. I am God and there is none like me. I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times, what is still to come. So I think when we think about God and everything that he is and his omnipresence, we need to understand that God is the Alpha and the Omega. So a lot of times for Christians, what happens is things get hard, things get tough. It feels like God is not there. But then we have this tendency sometimes to quit when God alone can see what's coming around the corner. It'd be great if we could project that or somehow prophesy that, which is being done here, that we could say, hey, hang in there because God's about to do a new thing, or God's fixing to do something, or God, while you cannot see him, is working behind the scenes. I think we need to not lose sight of the fact that God is not only the God of the past, which provides countless examples of his greatness, of his wonder, of his awe, but also it's from those past examples that we can have confidence of what God will do in the future. That while you may feel alone, like this morning, you may get up and life is hard and you feel burdened and you feel like you're carrying the weight of the world. At the end of the day, you need to know that God sees that and is still working for a better outcome, right? For something that is yet to come, right? And then the last sentence says this: my purpose will stand and I will do all that I please. I think part of the conflict that we have sometimes with God is the conflict between what our will is and what God's will is. I mean, in a wonderful world, it'd be nice if we could get God to align his will with our will 100% of the time so that we got what we wanted when we wanted it in just the fashion in which we desired it. But that's not in the Bible, and it's certainly not life, right? That we want to align our will with God's will. And when we align our will inside his perfect will, then we get to see the fruit of the work that he can do through us, even in difficult times. Right? So as we learn from this passage, we need to remember that we should not forget, that we need to remember what God has done in the past, all the wonderful things he's done and is still doing. We need to know that God is the God of the future, that he is with us always, right? And we need to remember that God's going to do as God pleases. You know, the last time I checked, God does not have to ask any of us our permission to be God and to do God things. God is going to be God. God is going to do God. And we are his creation. We have been invited to be a part of all the things that God is doing. So as we head into our week, I hope that we remember those things that God has done, that we remember he controls and has his hands on the future, and that he alone is God, and he can see things that we cannot see. Church, know that I love you. I hope this word blessed you this morning, and I look forward to being with you again next Monday.